Hey guys, All in Crypto here and welcome back, ladies and gents, for another YouTube video. In this video, we're going to be taking another look at Vechain and we're going to be touching on where we left off, guys. In our last video, we were sat around about 19 cents and we said that we could actually run into a bit of sort of downwards consolidation period. This 20 EMA was really making its mind up. And we had sold off below it. However, now, guys, we are back above it and we are actually using it as support. So I'm going to give you an update. We're going to be looking at Vechain on a larger time scale and really showing you why I believe it's absolutely going to go past $1 in terms of price. I'm not going to give you a price prediction. We're going to do that in another video, but I'm going to give you a rough kind of idea of where this project is going. So what we're going to do to start, guys, is we're going to look at Vechain where it is today. It's currently sat at 21 cents. It's up around about 6.3% on the daily and up a whopping 19.5% on the weekly. And currently has a market cap of $13.6 billion. Dogecoin has a market cap of $59.2 billion right now, so that gives you an idea of just how undervalued this project actually is with its sort of partnerships, BMW, you know, Walmart in China, etc., etc. You know, lots going on for this project, and in my opinion, it's still heavily undervalued and is going to perform very well throughout the rest of the year. We're going to get into why that is. So in our last video, guys, like I say, we had sold under this EMA. And we did anticipate for a little period of time it was going to act as resistance and we were going to keep coming up and bumping our head on it. You can see that that has not been true. So we were wrong on that call. And what's important now, guys, is it is now acting as support. We think this is going to continue. We think ultimately, guys, you are going to continue to ride up this EMA. And it is going to kind of act as support as you go on before you eventually pierce those all-time high levels. We're going to look we're going to switch it very, very quickly to a logarithmic scale. We're going to look at what is essentially, in my opinion, going to take place. I'm going to put a quick draw on here for you guys. Let's see where that's going to top out. Very, very quickly. You can see how we are in this kind of ascending triangle structure. It's not the best draw in the world, guys. But essentially what I think this EMA is going to do is it's going to force you up, guys. So you can see what's kind of going on right now. Ultimately, I think this EMA is going to continue to go upwards, ultimately forcing Vechain to break this triangle and, you know, go for those kind of prior all-time high levels. Now, depending on how this is met, you could see this be a bit of resistance. But if you manage to get through it successfully, it could switch and become support, and you could continue to move upwards in this bull market, guys. I want to quickly show you why I believe Vechain is going to absolutely smash $1 in my opinion. We're going to look at the weekly. We're going to look at the in a logarithmic scale. And we're going to look at something called Elliott wave theory, guys. I've just done a Cardano video where we're trying to sort of predict where perhaps the price of Cardano could be. I'm not going to do that in this video, but I'm going to show you very, very quickly why I think the price of Vechain is going to significantly smash $1. So what I want to do, guys, is kind of map out the Elliott wave theory that we have. Now, Elliott wave theory essentially dictates that we move in a kind of 5 impulse movement, which essentially works in a wave-like structure where, you know, I'll show you again quickly. There is complex Elliott wave theory that I will probably not touch on in this video. For the sakes of this video, we'll just focus on the simplicity of this pattern right here. This came up by a guy called Ralph Elliott, I believe, and essentially dictates how markets move. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to remind you of. Remember, this Elliott wave theory, even though it does apply to the cryptocurrency space, it's different than how you would perhaps map out a traditional stock or something like that. Between commodities and stocks, there are differences. Like, for example, the third wave in the stock market is usually the biggest one. In commodities, it's usually the 5th wave. We still have that 5th wave to come after we have finished this 4th leg before we then enter an ABC correction, which could coexist perfectly with the Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory, guys. So you can see we've made our first leg, which is our first wave, our second leg down, which in itself has a little ABC correction. We're on a third leg, and we are currently, and this is another reason why we did think that we were going to sell off a little bit more than we perhaps have right now. And I would still like to see that. I know that nobody wants to see their kind of investment go down in price, but ultimately it would be more bullish for me to see us kind of sell off in more of a significant manner than we already have done. Simply because if you follow the Elliott wave theory and you follow another number of other things, it would give it that kind of perfect momentum to, you know, continue. You know, when, you know, we can see the last time we corrected from the first wave, into that second wave, we actually sold through the EMA, and I'd like to see us get significantly closer to this EMA. However, I do not quite think that that's going to happen. I think if everything holds up the way that it is currently, you are going to see some more continuation to the upside. So if we, for example, say that this is our kind of fourth movement, our corrective phase, then the fifth wave is on the horizon, in my opinion. Like I say, I'm not saying that it is. We could, of course, fail some support and continue to sell off to the downside. That would not be a bad scenario at all, in my opinion. In fact, actually, that would be quite a bullish scenario, just as much as, you know, the one that I'm about to speak to you on now. So you still have that fifth wave. How do you work out that fifth wave? Well, traditionally in the stock market, the fifth wave is not as big as the third. So if we take the first wave and see what kind of a percentage that is and compare that to what we could do. So that's around about 780% move. So if we take it from the bottom all the way to the top, and bearing in mind, guys, you know, this is the crypto market. I actually think that the moves are going to be significantly bigger on the fifth wave, just because if you follow previous cycles, you look at 2017, everything really got moving on the towards the second half of the year, and certainly late towards the second half of the year. So I think that fifth wave could actually be a significant one. You know, you can see just taking it from the percentage of the first wave, you know, it would give us nearly a $1.50 Vechain price. So like I say, this is not a Vechain price prediction. This is just some food for thought for you guys to think about. Anybody that's bearish on Vechain right now, you know, just ignore the short-term time frame if you're an investor. I don't recommend anybody, although I'm not a financial advisor and cannot advise you what to do with your money, tries to trade the crypto market, because it is a nightmare, guys. Especially if you're new here and you don't know what you're doing, just hodl. That's kind of the mantra for the crypto space. And I think that will actually serve you very well. So we can see here on the daily, we have bounced off that EMA as well. This is also very bullish, a very bullish sign in my opinion. And we are in many respects kind of holding, you know, a line here that I do believe we are going to pop out the top of, in my opinion. You know, I'm looking at a lot of things right now, and honestly, I'd like to see this EMA, you know, continue to do this in a similar fashion to what it had done previously after it had kind of cooled off. You know, I'm hoping that that is what's going to happen, and you are going to use this EMA as a kind of elevator until we have, you know, corrected a little bit. You will gravitate towards this EMA. It's just kind of how things go. But on the 4 hourly, we are now using it as support. You can see that better in a logarithmic scale. We are in a bit of an ascending triangle right now, and this EMA is kind of pushing you towards the top of it. So I am expecting in a short period of time a very, a kind of push through to that prior all-time highs that would then take us into price discovery. And really from there, guys, it's anybody's guess. But ultimately, you know, this project, in my opinion, is actually going over certainly $1, and is going to go, in my opinion, significantly further, you know, $1.50, perhaps $2. We will see. This isn't a price prediction video, guys. I'm just giving you a little overview of that. Now, why else? You know, like I say, it does scare me slightly. Certainly, if we take it off the logarithmic scale, that we are perhaps so overextended from this EMA, and I would like to see more of a significant kind of correction towards it. However, if you look at Bitcoin back in 2017, you can see how kind of overextended that was. Certainly, if we take it off a logarithmic scale. So, you know, there's a bit of parabolic kind of movement that comes into place there, and, you know, we're not seeing anything out of the ordinary that's too kind of scary and too kind of overbought. Now, if we look at Bitcoin, you can see Bitcoin does a similar thing, you know, in its waves. It's used this EMA essentially as a springboard, and we could be setting up for that kind of next leg upwards based on that theory. We could be done correcting. Ultimately, you'll know if you're not, because you are going to sort of go back down and perhaps retest this. But ultimately, I'm leaning more towards a bias. I'm leaning more towards a bullish bias. If we look at the 4 hourly, and we've pointed this out in a number of videos, we'll take us off the logarithmic chart. You can see you had a head and shoulders pattern that essentially was validated, guys. You can see this inverse head and shoulders that essentially has been validated here and is now, it's almost forming like a bit of a cup and handle structure. That's a really messy draw. But essentially, guys, I do think, you know, you're still testing this EMA, you're still staying above it, and you're essentially bouncing off it and continuing to the upside, guys. So I think the entire market is ready to kind of wake up. You know, it's finished having a bit of a temper tantrum. You're seeing that with all these sort of coins in the green right now. Bullish things coming, guys. You know, we still think we've got a long way to go in this bull market. We think Vechain is a solid project with some real solid fundamentals. You know, Sonny Liew is He was the chief technology officer, I think, for Louis Vuitton. You know, they have some fantastic partnerships. He's a very, very credible guy. They have a fantastic team, and ultimately, you know, the kind of case that they're looking to, they have a very capable blockchain, and also the kind of use case that the blockchain has is absolutely huge, in my opinion. And, you know, he's going to save lives in a lot of cases. Certainly when we look at the counterfeits goods trade, and we look at, you know, medicines and pharmaceuticals and stuff like that, and how that would eradicate that, and you could essentially verify everything on the Vechain blockchain. It's doing some great things, guys. So right now we are bullish. We did say in our last video that we were expecting some downwards consolidation. That has been invalidated. At the end of the day, guys, a pattern's true until it's just not. You know, when it gets invalidated and you see a kind of push above it, and then this starts to act as support, there's nothing to really suggest. We see no other kind of structure here to suggest that, you know, you are going to just slam back through it. Even though, in my own personal opinion, I would definitely like to see us, you know, certainly if we switch it to a logarithmic scale, you know, let's delete these. Come further down to this EMA. I'd be totally comfortable with that. And actually, I think that would be more bullish before we then make that that fifth and final leg, before we have our ABC correction that potentially could take us into the bear market. So that's all I have for you in this video, guys. I just thought I'd give you a quick update. You know, we don't hide anything on these channels. If we come out and we've been wrong, we leave the videos up, we say we're wrong. That's why you should subscribe to this channel, guys, because we are honest. We try and give you the best kind of direction that we think the market is going to take. And ultimately, we always remember why we are in the crypto space and just how revolutionary blockchain technology is. And essentially, regardless of the, I haven't invested in Vechain or a project like Cardano or even Bitcoin based on the charts. Certainly not. I've invested in them based on the fundamentals, and the technicals are just a kind of a tool in your toolbox, essentially. So that's all I have for you in this video, guys. Great things coming from Vechain, I do believe, and the entire market. Hopefully we are going to start moving to the upside. Bitcoin's perhaps done consolidating and has made up its mind in the direction that it wants to go. That will be good for the entire market, and certainly a project as valuable as Vechain is going to appreciate as a result of that. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. A like is always appreciated. Comments, I want to know your feedback, good or bad. And I'll see you in the next one, guys. Get subscribed to one of the fastest and realest growing YouTube channels out there. And like I say, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.